That's basically it. So anything that lets you control another unit, we sort of haven't implemented that yet. We're sort of worried that it would give the AI actually an unfair edge by being able to control many things all at once. So
you're holding it back.
I mean, if it were zero work for us, we'd probably do it just to verify, but we haven't prioritized it.
Gotcha. No illusions as well.
So. Yeah, so no illusion runes as well.
No illusion runes, and
maybe one other item.
It will be played on the current patch.
Yeah, the current patch.
Yes. And what's the state of the courier? Because I know a little while back it was the automated courier, but now there's only one.
So originally we trained them with 5 invulnerable couriers, just so we didn't have to deal with it.
Yes.
And then very shortly before TI, we swapped it out for 1 courier. We didn't tell OpenAI 5, we just had them start training with 1 courier and see what happened. And they mostly adapted to it. And so at this point, they've pretty well adapted to playing in a universe with only 1 courier.
What do you expect to see here? What should we look for in a game like this?
Brooke knows I'm salty because during the entire courier talk, I was just looking at her. It's like 1 month too late. Because we had to play on it when it was like, we were fighting, and then there'd just be like an army of couriers coming by with like healing cells. I was so confused.
It's a slightly different game.
At least in this one, I'm not sure. It was really funny because we heard them discussing backstage what they were going to do, and it was remarkably close to what we had planned beforehand. Because obviously, like, the night before we had played against it, to give you guys context, we were like, okay, we know the restrictions and stuff like that. They gave us the rule set, but we weren't allowed to see it play. So we went through the theory craft stage. We're like, okay, what heroes are good? What's our play style? And I remember we talked almost like the same way No-Tail did. I'll just tell you their strategy because it doesn't matter. It's not like OpenAI, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't impact anybody.
Spoilers.
So they were just saying, like, so originally Moon was like, if we just cut waves, what can they do? And it was really funny because backstage, No-Tail said the exact same thing. He's like, if we cut waves, what can they do? And I was like, you might think that, but... And the way that they prioritize here, too, we thought that Necro was going to be, like, the next best thing. And let me tell you, it was garbage.
But it was also, like, 3 months in the past as the patch. It had gotten buffed recently or something
I think for the playstyle, though, it's going to not be as good as they think it is. So they're doing the same thing we are, where they take Earthshaker because we think that the bot sucks against Echo Slam, which we learned also, surprise, it can stop you from blink echoing.
Look at the percentage, though, something to keep an eye on. Before even picking up half their heroes, or more than half, they already have a 64% win rate against OG. Is that like their average against humans, or how do they get to that?
So that's their... Once they have a full lineup, they will know from playing many, many games that we've run a game basically with every possible lineup and saw what their win probability was at the beginning of the game. And this is just extrapolating if OG were to draft exactly like we would draft, what the lineup would wind up with at the end.
So they already think they have a 64% chance to win based on the picks so far.
So specifically with the Earthshaker pick there, they are still a little bit weak to Fissure, because if you think about the way that they think about the game, when they put down the Fissure and they realize that there's a block, they don't actually see that block, right? They need to kind of figure out that they're attempting to make a move and they're instead being navigated in a different direction, which is just harder to kind of realize when you're not seeing it, right? When the human player sees it, it's so obvious, like there's a wall there, you cannot move past it. So for them, that has been a little bit harder to pick up. So in the bot versus bot games, Earthshaker tends to be like valued pretty lowly.
And so this 64% comes from their training games when they played against each other in games with Earthshaker. So it might be underestimating the Earthshaker in the hands of OG.
Yeah. I mean, you have Jerax playing it most likely, and I think he
won some money with it.
Yeah, he won some money. He was probably the best Earthshaker at TI. But OpenAI also take Gyrocopter, who we figured out after, unfortunately, playing against it, that it was the best core in the pool, just because of what it does, right? It's one of the few cores that have actual catch, and it has a low cooldown ability to just consistently run at you.
And it actually has range. We actually laned against a Gyro Shiver and I, and they would do like Maledict, and then instantly Gyro would flat cannon. So even though he's still like sitting by the creep wave, he's still affecting that lane outcome. So they basically, both of their 2 picks here are ranged heroes, essentially, that can affect anybody that gets out of position. Everybody can jump on him at the same time.
So we saw between the sniper pick and the gyro pick, there was actually a little pause, as if AI was thinking about what to pick. How do they draft?
So that pause is artificial, mostly because we don't we don't want to have to rush the human team and say, the AI picks instantly, and now it's your turn again, and you've gotten no time to think about it.
It was an accidental Crystal Maiden pick.
So that's an early Witch Doctor. We heard them speak backstage, we felt like they were going to prioritize these two heroes pretty highly. They felt like the sustain from the Witch Doctor, plus taking it away from OpenAI 5. Because if you've seen the past iterations of it, what it's going to do is try to protect the wave, push down towers, and the healing aspect plus the cask as a catch, I think it's not just, because there's no bans, it's also a deny pick as well.
I don't even think they're going to get the heal early. I'm pretty sure they prioritize Maledict Cask. I don't seem to remember the Witch Doctor healing much. Maybe when like the 5 career
They did
model,
when they
absolutely.
5-on-5.
Yeah, when they were all
When they were
grouped up as
pushing it,
5.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe it would help them end games a little bit better. But laning-wise, it was Maledict level 1. They went for pressure kills as soon as somebody got out of position. It was definitely a little different.
Now, in Dota 2 at the moment, a lot of lanes are 2-1-2. 2 on the side lanes, 1 mid. Yesterday, we saw them go for a 3-1-1 lane setup. Is that something that is traditional, Brooke, for the AI?
Yeah, for their play, they really like to set up a tri-lane.
Yes.
It's not consistent though. With different lineups, they will try different things, and a lot of it takes into account what they think their lane matchups will be. But again, that's going to be based on what the AI's, like assuming that the opponent is an AI, what their lane matchup would be, and kind of like working off of that. So when you throw humans into the mix, they might be wrong about which lanes they want.
So they try to predict what their opponent is going to do lane-wise as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what makes it so interesting, because we ran 2-1-2 against it at the tri-lane. We died a lot. Earthshaker basically played between our lane and the mid lane, and he just waited so that he could always help out with the fissure if needed. Lots
a little
of picks.
bit extra picks coming out here with the Crystal Main and Death Prophet on the side of AI 5. I must say, this looks pretty scary in terms of, we keep saying that they are aggressive early on and they take objectives very early. Now, these heroes, they're going to be very good with that as well.
Yeah, I think the Death Prophet, we played against it yesterday. It felt really strong. It was hard to pressure in lane. It's hard to do stuff against. And obviously the ulti is just tower breaking. Like, it allows you a very natural vehicle to just hit buildings early on. And there's not a lot of heroes that do that. There's no Shadow Shaman or anything like that that allow you free wards or anything. And that's another hero that they talked about was the Riki. Because, I mean, I don't know how it deals with Invis itself. I mean, when I played against it yesterday with the Shadow Blade, I noticed that it kept buying sentries and it would buy dust. How does it work against Riki, who's Invis all the time?
They would also buy sentries.
It's just the same stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, last time you guys played him, the Riki was really effective actually, because they couldn't. I felt like they were a little bit weak to ganking. They're not always very good at reacting to like chaotic movements and pressure. So I feel like Invis heroes like Riki could be effective for OG.
Let me tell you, if you're not used to chaotic Dota, then you're not prepared for OG.
That's true.
I mean, who knows what has been happening in the matches that they played against each other, right?
This is a 4-core lineup for OpenAI, I think.
It is. I don't know what their plan
support,
is.
maybe?
Sven support? I mean, they don't think in that, in that way. So it's not like we need a support. No, they need something nice.
We do often see them, if you look at net worth distribution at the end of the game, they much less frequently have the sort of 3-core, 2-support structure. They're all sort of more similar to each other.
Okay.
Very, very selfless team.
Yeah.
All right, so the draft is done. We see the percentage there. And I mean, they only got like an extra, 3% off the back of 5 heroes picked.
Which means that OpenAI agrees with what OG has picked, right? You see that the Riki and the Shadow Fiend didn't increase OpenAI 5's chance at all. So OpenAI 5 thinks those were exactly the right choices for OG.
But where they messed up was the first pick Earthshaker, essentially. That they felt, because it started off as a 65. I believe in some of the closer matches when you guys played them, you could start the draft off around 50 if you picked the right heroes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if they had picked one of their earlier picks, it likely would have started closer to 50%.
Okay.
All right, guys. Game number 1 of this best of 3 is gonna start, and it's gonna start real soon, and it's gonna start with the voices of ODPixel and Capitalist.
OpenAI 5 versus OG. Game 1.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, I'm ODPixel. I'm here with Cap, and we're ready for this game 1 of OpenAI 5 versus OG. We've just seen the draft, Cap, and some of these heroes that we're seeing from OpenAI, we've seen before in the past, haven't they? They've got some good heroes. There's sort of Gyro, there's Death Prophet, there's going to be a lot of group up and go, and this is what we've seen in the past
OpenAI be very strong at, this old 5-man Dota.
You know, when Blitz was talking about, like, how we were listening to OG, and then we had some similar thought processes, there was like 3 heroes that came up that were really important to me. OpenAI was Gyrocopter and Earthshaker. both felt like really strong, both for them and against them. And then there's a hero that's missing, which is Necrophos, which we thought was actually going to be very good, which turned out to be absolutely terrible, just based off of the meta, in part because Gyrocopter was so good at the time. But other than that, I don't know. I guess Crystal Maiden, I remember there was, because of the lack of stuns, the long-range Crystal Maiden slow was actually quite strong at the time. We see here, this is going to be the OpenAI. We're going to see how OpenAI is thinking about where they're going to be going. So this is going to be showing like green lines to show what lane they're going to be heading to and where they want to go in the future, basically. And then we're also going to have little health bars underneath each one of the heroes. That's going to demonstrate what the AI thinks about their current situation and how likely they are to be able to get kills, how likely they are to die. So if you see a super red bar, pretty much means they're done for.
Oh, and already up top, the action's kicking off as OpenAI will claim first blood. No tail is to be caught out here as the two teams meet head to head at that top rune spawn.
So Thompson, this is going to be definitely the tricky pick, right? Is whether or not OpenAI is able to adjust to the Riki and how well they do with invisible heroes.
I mean, overall, sort of looking at the lineup that OG has here in this game one, can you sort of see what their sort of game plan is against the OpenAI? Do you think this sort of approach makes sense?
Well, I was a little bit surprised because OpenAI, they, at least when we faced against them, they would typically tri-lane. And so I thought they were going to be running the Riki into the tri-lane and just say, okay, we've got this off-laner that can survive pretty... Oh, jeez. Look at that.
That's already gone up quite a bit since the drafting phase.
The trash talk has already begun.
Absolutely. OG, of course, sort of the ultimate team in using the all-chat functions to tilt the teammates. We'll see if it works out here against the AI, as the AI is ready to step it up to a similar level.
So yeah, instead they're running Thompson Riki in the mid lane up against the Death Prophet, and then they're dual laning, putting the Viper with the Earthshaker at bottom against the Gyrocopter Crystal Maiden.
Okay. I mean, I guess on this bottom lane, it's sort of nice in the sense that it's very hard for OpenAI to kill these two heroes, right? Any sort of aggressive play comes out, Fisher's going to be there to hold them back. And it's top lane running this side lane SF, something that we do not see normally, but something that OG feels could be strong against the AI.
Look at this. They're already setting up, they're cutting creep waves, right? They talked about, this is probably going to be the best way to do this. Obviously, the off lane is the best lane to be able to cut the creep wave just because there's so much space. So they're trying to do that very early on. I expected maybe they would wait till level 2 Nether Toxin. That's where, classically, in the Dota meta, we've seen, mid-Vipers. They'll pick up level 2 or level 3 Nether Toxin, start jungling. We're going to have a similar idea here, I believe, with OG in their bottom lane.
And we're seeing already in the mid lane a very good start for the Thompson Riki. He has that 9-for-4 against the 5-for-0. But of course, one thing to remember with the AI, it's not necessarily the mechanical functions as the CS that wins them the games. It's the strategical gameplay that can come out of even a laning stage where they do not get the maximum amount of potential farm. It's the moves that they'll start to make afterwards, which will catch them back up, despite Thompson getting that better lane at the moment.
So we've already got some warding down from OpenAI. Apparently seeing all the creep cutting that OG was doing, they wanted to get some vision, more vision, around that jungle area. And the Crystal Maiden is actually just kind of jungling away with the healing cell, but isn't using Frostbite to kill the bigger creeps.
I mean, this normally happens when they don't get mid. They'll turn to the jungle. As he's going to be found out here, though, by the Shaker. Jarex, of course, coming in, and is going to be able to put a bit of a stop to AI getting that jungle camp for now. As, yeah, he knows what the CM's plan was. And CM really wants to go back to those creeps. But Jarex will make sure that she will be unable to do so for now, leaving Seb on his own down bottom, but he should be
able to kill the Crystal Maiden, actually. Yeah, they set it up. Thompson rotates over and didn't see that coming. That's exactly the point. They've got a Riki mid. How could she see that coming when he's invisible?
Yeah, so far the Riki looking to be a great pick to start the game off with. Bottom lane, Seb with that space. He's top CS now as the Viper. CM is going to be quick to come down to this bottom lane, but again, Jarex is on the hunt. Another TP will come into that bottom lane from the sniper. AI bringing him back up. At the same time, AI is going aggressive up top. OpenAI diving past the tower. They'll find no tower, but they dove pretty deep for this, the OpenAI, as the reaction will be there from OG. They have both the combo of the SF and the Shaker to bring down the Gyrocopter. So aggressive plays from the OpenAI, but it does end up in a trade that favors OG on that top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things is that they so aggressively pushing into that bottom lane, they force the rotation of the sniper, right? I think that's what OG's plan is going to be quite a lot. We know that OpenAI likes to be able to defend their towers quite a bit. They will oftentimes, what we look at it from the human perspective is over-rotating. Bringing too many heroes to defend a tower, that's going to be something that I think OG will try and exploit, and we'll see whether or not it works for them.
And look at this, how deep Seb is skipping these creeps. He should pay with his life this time, and he will, as the CM is able to put a stop to
no, all those creeps
the
are so low too. She might actually just deny the whole entire wave.
She did certainly got a couple, yeah.
I bet Sniper will finish the rest off.
Yeah, the OpenAI Sniper getting a lot of space down upon him. Still back towards the mid. After Thompson sort of made those plays around, OpenAI's Death Prophet has caught up in farm. It's now very close between the two. You see Jerax, he's going to look for a wraparound on mid. The setup's there with the Fisher. OpenAI's blocked in, nowhere for the Death Prophet to run, as that will be another kill here for Thompson on his Ricky. Top lane, back towards more action. OpenAI once again looking to dive in deep past the tower with this Gyrocopter and Sven combination. They've got the Voodoo Restoration though, OG. No-Tail keeping the two of them alive as OG's able to turn, bring down the Sven. Still though, trying for this SF. Gyro desperate for the kill, but he cannot find
he's not gonna get it!
As with the Fisher and the heals from No-Tail, this SF just won't die. Anna stays alive, and OG again able to hold on despite the aggressive plays from the OpenAI on that top lane.
Yeah, I think OG is really, they came up with a couple of really good ideas. They run Riki mid. First of all, you've got superior last hitting because of backstab, amplifying your damage so you can get last hits as well as denies in there. The Earthshaker rotating over is perfect. And so many times it looks like OpenAI is just caught unaware by these kind of these rotations because Jerax is hardly on the map at all. He's not really showing in bottom or top lane very often. He just all of a sudden appears, fishers something, and it seems like OpenAI is struggling to be able to keep up with that.
Yeah, he's having a huge impact so far on the Shaker, and you can see why OG wanted to favor it so much as an early pick in the draft, as they have made these fantastic moves so far across the map.
And then another one is the Voodoo Restoration choice. Picking up the Witch Doctor. We've seen how the harassment, OpenAI is super good about being able to do that, and the Voodoo Restoration is cutting a lot of that out and making these fights go their way.
And we're going to see the AI going, this time with the help of the CM. They're looking to lead in onto the SF. No-Tail's there, though. Again, as you mentioned, this Voodoo Restoration just making it that little too hard for the AI to instantly kill the SF. They'll get another stun out. He's still alive, though. Finally, they get that kill onto Anna. They will finish off the Shadow Fiend. They're trying to see if they can find even more, potentially the OpenAI, as it looks towards No-Tail with the Rocket Barrage. The Gyrocopter finds another. This time, the OpenAI is getting away with the aggression up top. They realized it wasn't working with just the Sven and the Gyro, so they add in that Crystal Maiden, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah, they made the adaptation, right? They were like, okay, they just keep on running these heroes at top lane. Let's outnumber them. Really good play by the Gyro AI as well, healing, salving underneath tower, recognizing that he wasn't going to be taking any damage. Witch Doctor is just trying to run away from him, so he makes sure that for the combat, he's full health.
I'm going to see OG try and strike back a little bit. They do get some good bounces here, but a quick stun from the Sven holds back OG from being able to follow up with any more raises onto the Gyro.
And I'll tell you, Owen, I remember from experience, we thought the cask was going to be good. The paralyzing cask was going to be good against the AI. It is not. They know the spacing so well.
Oh, another great setup here in the middle lane. As once again, it is Jerax on his Shaker, sees a Fisher opening opportunity. Thompson even baiting them, hanging around very low. Back up top. More aggressive plays will claim another kill for the AI as they bring down No-Tail.
Little bit surprised they didn't try and dive that Shadow Fiend, but I guess the Gyro did not have the mana. Oh, the Crystal Maiden. Oh.
Thompson with a quick jump away will make sure that he doesn't go down in response.
And I can't help but thinking if he had just Frostbite, you know, instead of like actually being able to have that disarm against the Riki, may have actually gotten the kill on the Riki and Crystal Maiden surviving.
I'm going to see a little bit of an attempt from the snipers to punch back, but that's normally that's one of the scariest situations, because in places like that where you say the OpenAI could have killed you, there's a reason why it didn't. You were not worthy of it spending the resources. In the long term, it's got a bigger plan, and killing you at that point won't do anything for them in terms of winning the game, so why do it?
It's going to get so much scarier once the gyro is level 6, because we see that so many times they spam out the heat-seeking missile, and you think you're far enough back, you're like, I'm probably far enough back, this is going to be okay, and then it ends up diving you underneath the tower in a large part is because of how much damage the ultimate does.
The Jerax, though, he is trying to set up here with the Invis rune, gets the Fisher out onto the two of them. There's already a missile out onto No-Tail. They did get the Maledict out onto the Gyrocopter, but he's able to back away. OpenAI will not be caught out by that Invis play from Jerax. He does at least stop anyone from going down. Maybe the CM will fall, though, as Thompson's also coming with the rotation. Another stun used by the Sven to keep the Crystal Maiden safe. As they'll back up to the high ground. OG are attempting to chase, jump forward, and another Fisher out onto the CM with Tricks the Trade. They'll get the kill. Paralyzing Carscat as well from No-Tail. As OG aren't done yet, they're trying to chase 4 more, looking towards this Sven, but they cannot finish him off. He's still got a stun available if they dive any further. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the Gyro is able to clean up the kill on Seb.
Yeah, Seb just keeps on doing the same thing, cutting the creep wave, but the AI is responding in kind. They just sometimes bring one hero over, kill the Viper, and protect their tower. Like, though, you see that we've got Crystal Maiden now down there dealing with the creep wave as best as possible. She is not afraid of tanking it to make sure that the tower doesn't take any damage. It seems like the objectives, the AI places them in very high regard and refuses to let any chip damage happen.
See up top, another attempt to set up here from Jerax, but it is going to have to be a defensive one as Thompson jumps away, nearly dies there to the Crypt Swarm from the Death Prophet. It's not quite enough, so Thompson will survive. Bounty runes are to spawn, and we're going to see, as it seems, both sides are going to be able to claim 2 each. 10 minutes in, 8 to 9, less than a 1k lead here at the moment for the AI. It's an incredibly close start to the match. Thompson once more, going with the Tricks the Trade. They're probably tanking a lot of these hits. He's now going to try and turn. Does have the Siphon onto Thompson.
Okay.
Has not got mana for a Crypt Swamp, but the Siphon doing quite a bit indeed. Seb is there by the side of Thompson. It's going to be...
That's the wrong one. Okay. Now,
oh, there we go. Did find the sentry
good.
down, but Thompson's already out of there. So he will be okay. Does have to be a little careful with the sniper around. Assassinate available if he does show. Seb, again, playing very aggressively, very deep past the tower. OpenAI is going to have something to say about this one. As they'll come in, Sven Stern holds down the Viper. OpenAI will get Seb once again for trying to cut these waves behind the towers.
So normally the idea in a lot of Dota is that you force the enemy to make these rotations, and the rotations just don't end up being worth it. Even if they get the kill, they're like way out of position or something. But you could see OpenAI is still sitting at a net worth lead.
Oh, Thompson.
Oh.
Got to be a little careful here. Still lucky that the Death Prophet does not have mana for an extra Crystal. Just actually jump in to take the creep there away from the Sven. Back towards bottom. This continuing push coming out from OpenAI will be responded to by OGs. They'll lead with the Fisher. They have brought in Anna as well on his SF, ready to charge forward. Already OpenAI realizing that they are outnumbered here. They will retreat back towards the tower. We'll see if they bring in any backup to try and fight this. As the Gyro is getting gone upon, another slow comes out from the CM, holding back Jerax and Thompson, but there's a Fisher, another jump forward, as OG should be able to find it. Thompson nearly dies to that rocket barrage, but Thompson's prepared. As soon as the Gyro is dead, he's got a salve popped, and he's ready to try and hunt for more.
Again, look at the objectives, right? I was going to say, this is going to be super interesting to see how they respond, right? There's a big dive going on the bottom lane, but there's no creep wave. The tower's not under attack, so they say, hey, that's not worth it. We're not rotating to save a hero. We're going to make sure we take an objective in that top lane instead.
See back towards mid Thompson, and he's able to chase down the CM. A big ult comes out. Oh, that's beautiful! Oh, the OpenAI Crystal Maiden doing it big time there, and in fact, they're going to get this SF as well. Anna falls. The Crystal Maiden going big, standing her ground, committing with the ultimate. She knew she wouldn't die. She knew she'd get those 2 kills.
Oh, we were talking about like, oh man, how well is the OpenAI going to be able to adjust to like the patch changes? Have they read it at all? Well, maybe it's OG who didn't read the patch changes. That armor for the Crystal Maiden saves her life, gets multiple kills.
As they do get the tower, Sven is incredibly low. Seb's going to TP in and try and find this kill for sure. He'll throw out the Viper Strike. Instant stun from the Sven will hold Seb back in position. Is he going to tick down to the poison? He's not. The Sven will survive. And now OpenAI, they turn onto Seb. They'll get the Viper kill. Thompson and Jerax, they're still trying to desperately chase at least something here. Jump forward from Thompson, tricks the trade. It won't quite do it. The Gyro is too speedy. He continues to retreat. Thompson is going to try and chase this down. He's got another jump forward, and he will finally be able to claim the life of the Gyrocopter. But already we're starting to see that that difference grow. The 3K lead now for OpenAI against OG. Thompson is diving underneath the tower for this. TP was going to come in, but does get cancelled as they realize that the sniper is no longer under any harm. Maybe he is, though. Thompson continuing to try and jump in, as he's really going for this kill. Again, another jump forward, the silence down. He's trying to find it. Has he got the damage?
No way!
Oh! I mean, he'll get it, but he loses his life for it there. Thompson playing incredibly aggressively as the all chat comes out.
The sniper beautifully, right? He turns around to make sure he doesn't take the full backstab damage every single time. Right as Thompson's about to hit him, he just has that little bit of micro that makes sure that he lives as long as possible and does manage to get at least a counter kill.
Of course, whilst this time's going on, the Death Prophet has had space up top. We saw a few minutes ago she was able to push in with that Exorcism, take that tier 1 tower. He's actually going to try and chase down Jarex a little bit here. The backup's going to be coming in for the Sven. Fisher will stop the Sven from getting in range for initial stun, but he's still able to chase around it, and that will mean a kill onto Jarex. Now Sven still able to get out with that boosted movement speed. He'll escape. The Death Prophet's in trouble, though. They've got the Maledict down. If Thompson can find a few more punches with the help of Thompson, they certainly can. They do kill off the Death Prophet.
I thought maybe they were going to go for a Shadowblade build for the Shadow Fiend, since they already had one invisible hero, try and exploit that as much as possible, but instead a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, we'll see what sort of players Anna's able to pull out with that. Obviously the speed that you can play with that blink, the potential for sort of that instant sort of misplacement and for the dodging as well. Certainly these skills, such as the Sven stun that we've seen flying in time and time again, causing quite a few issues for OG when this Sven does decide to go in and initiate a fight. So we're going to see the Radiant Courier killed. That is going to be a Yule Scepter put at the side for now. As now, another move here from OG. They've found the Gyrocopter. They've also found the CM. Blink forward there from the two of them. They'll chase down a second. A double kill picked up by Anna.
Very big rotation, especially since it seems like OpenAI is not actually getting anything in return. It looks like they're going to be setting up for a push on the mid lane, and we'll see how OG responds, whether or not they give up on their bottom lane push. They're also getting a nice bit of weight here at top as well. So they could try and exchange 2 towers for 1 if they wanted to, but...
Cool is going to be made for Exorcism to be committed here towards the mid lane, as they've got that assassinate onto Thompson. It does end, so they lose vision of the Riki. Thompson's able to jump away. Seb does find the kill onto the Crystal Maiden. OpenAI only having the CM on our own on that top lane for now. The rest of the team are starting to swing around towards this top lane in an attempt to hold on to this tier 1 tower. Seb immediately TPs out. He'll cut the creep wave, gets away, as OG will back up as they read the movements of OpenAI and won't be caught out. But OpenAI at least do keep that tier 1 tower on the top lane alive, as they'll stop the push. Back in the jungle, though, with OG forcing OpenAI's reaction up top. They know that the Gyro is pretty alone here. Thompson's trying to chase. They've got the catch with the Fisher, and with that double damage rune, Thompson will have the damage. There's going to be an immediate buyback, in fact, from the Gyrocopter.
Oh, he's mad.
It's a buyback for what? As OpenAI's Gyro cannot really get back in position to punish OG. OG's already out there. Thompson, actually, he's still trying to make a go. He's going to jump in. He's going to lose his life for that one. A very unnecessary play there from Thompson. Will cost OG that Riki. That's going to be Riki gone for 40 seconds.
So we see both sides are getting some team fight items. We have the Guardian Greaves for Seb on the Viper. The Vlad's is currently being built by the Sven for OpenAI. Doesn't actually include the, like, he has this Morbid Mask in his stash. He could have that in his inventory, but instead is waiting for the full-out Vlads. It is nice to see, though, that still, like, the 5-manning, at least from our understanding of Dota, it is really important to have those team fight items.
No doubt. He's going for a pretty, well, I say ambitious, but he has got the help of Jarex, and with that stun lock, that'll be more than enough. Does that mean that the Sven dies in another buyback? OpenAI does not want to waste any time off the map. They bring their heroes straight back in as soon as they die, when they feel that something can be done. And it's being asked for. They're being pretty silent at the moment, the AI.
Yeah, we have not heard about any win percentages in a long time, ever since that 80%. And this is, you know, an AI team that was once up about 3K net worth, now down. And it seems like OG has found a kind of pattern to take it to the AI, but they are going to lose 2 here, it looks like.
Again, very aggressive plays in from OG. Actually, he nearly gets away, but will not be the case.
That was smart. The gyro ran back to give vision to the sniper so he could actually get the auto attack in.
See in the middle, Jerax, Echo Slam's going to be used. Quick setup and another instant buyback. This team, OpenAI, will not stay down. They get immediately back into the game. As their Sven is in trouble. They're bringing back up. It's going to be a haste, but Thompson, he's able to grab it before the Sven is. In fact, though, it doesn't matter. They turn. OpenAI just looks towards the Riki with the backup of the Crystal Maiden. They have that control. As back on form. It's a 95% here for OpenAI.
From our human perspective, this is an even game, Owen. How are they saying 95%?
I'm pretty sure even Dota Bless at the moment wouldn't be in the 90s, as this game does not look one-sided. It's very even in the net worth. OpenAI, though, feeling incredibly confident with themselves, and they are going to dive in past the tower. They'll look with the ultimate here from the gyro. BKB is there from Anas. He'll try and turn, but Seb, he's already fallen. Sven will make sure that No-Tail's pushed all the way back. Official will come out to hold them down, but OpenAI, they've got 2 more kills. Seb and Jerax fall, a third as well, as they snipe down No-Tail right up to the high ground. The Death Prophet has the Yule Scepter controlling Anna. Anna sort of left on his own here to try and hold back, but there's the stun from Sven. Anna's going to fall as well. As OpenAI, they're into the base. It's 19 minutes in. They're taking the tier 3 tower. They're almost certainly going to look for more. As OG, they have 4 dead at the moment. Only a Riki. And Riki, not the best hero, holding back a 5-man push on his own.
You know, sometimes, Owen, we say that, the net worth is a little deceiving because we're going to watch Thompson die as well. Sometimes net worth is deceiving, but you would still say, like, no matter what, like, this game is, pretty even. We'd say 60-40 or something like that, but the AI read that we have much stronger team fight. We also have the, 4 core that we were talking about as well. Jarek still does not have his Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker, so there is just a lacking in team fight, and they understood that and just go 5-man down mid. Just take all the objectives. They can't beat us.
Just what a few minutes of gameplay there from OpenAI. I mean, we learned sort of 2 things there. First of all, don't underestimate the probabilities that they fire out. And if you're OG and OpenAI is being a little quiet, don't sort of bait them into any action. Because suddenly I don't think we're going to see any more question marks in the all chat from OG.
No, I don't think so.
As now a 7K lead, a set of racks up. OG, you could see it. They were feeling very confident with themselves, but now they've got to get back on and they've got to focus if they want a chance to recover this game against OpenAI.
It's definitely going to be a heavy focus on split pushing now for OG. They've just got to, as many ways as possible, move the AI around the map, try and keep them from doing another one of those 5-man pushes. I think something triggered. Once they saw the way that the lanes were set up and how much stronger they were in team fights, they said, we can take an objective here, and that's what gives us the 95%.
We are going to see a nice cast bounce here onto the 2 of them, the CM and the Sven, but they're straight again. The CM holds her ground, pops the ultimate, will fall, but they'll get Seb in return. See if they can try and chase for more. They have the Exorcism out, but it's going to be a quick TP away, in fact, from the Death Prophet as they'll move straight back towards the mid. They've got their eyes on the Shadow Fiend, but with that Blink Dagger, Anna's able to get himself back to safety. Back in the jungle, Thompson still trying to go onto this Gyrocopter. There will be a homing missile heading his way, so Thompson cannot chase any further. The Gyro will be safe for now. I mean, I say that Thompson is still keeping on top of him. He really wants to try for this Thompson. The Gyro is pretty low at the moment. We'll see how far Thompson wants to dive. With Gyro up on the high ground, I think that will be as far as Thompson's willing to go.
We've seen the AI so many times, Thompson will go invisible, and they're like, okay, it's safe to farm again. And Thompson's been trying to exploit that as much as possible, but this time, the Gyro will make sure to go all the way back to base. And from here, I mean, OG just has to keep playing really fast in the regard that what they were doing, invading the jungle, just trying to split AI as much as possible.
So Thompson is trying for the courier, but will just be out of range. Then we'll be able to send over the CM her now completed. Forced up, Thompson will manage to get that courier once again, managing to catch it down the way back, but OpenAI are prepared. Sentries dusts are out. And they've got the detection. Thompson will be able to dodge a bit of the damage there with the ultimate, but he'll come back down. The dust, of course, still upon him. He has got a silence, as he'll be able to juke his way away from the CM, but there's the wraparound. He's back into Invis, though. Do they have any further detection? Thompson's going to TP out into the tree line. Out he goes. He'll get himself away from that attempt by OpenAI.
And we see the difference there between the AI, right? Is that if a human was playing that Crystal Maiden, they would have just thrown out a Nova somewhere and hoped that they would have actually killed the Riki. I'm not sure if it was whether or not Riki maybe was just high enough that he wouldn't die to a Crystal Nova, or again, him being invisible, just registering, not really knowing that they could kill him at all.
We're going to see the build from Ana. This game is going to be a very sort of defensive build. There's Jules, Blink, and BKB, which, of course, he's got the Blink and the BKB done at the moment. We're going to see in the middle lane, jump forward with the Blink, but there's going to be a response straight away with the stun onto the Shaker. They get the kill on the CM, but immediate buyback again from OpenAI, as they'll come straight back into the action, just in case there's any potential to look for those greater plays. As we're seeing this so many times, OpenAI definitely realizes that the power of early game buybacks.
Oh, they caught another one.
It's always worth it.
It's going to be Viper at the top lane. The Blink Dagger, they just put a homing missile on somebody, and then they just always have the follow-up. They know.
Back in the river, they're going to find the follow-up onto another, as Ana is in trouble, gets peeped down here by the sniper, turns towards Jerax. I mean, it's 4 dead again on OG, only No Tail alive. He'll pop down a very symbolistic death ward as he is going to die, as there's the Death Prophet with the Siphon chasing him down. Assassinate's going to come in from the sniper. One more right-click will do it from the Death Prophet. OG getting team-wiped by OpenAI.
Look how low this Sven is. It's just like every single time they know exactly when to back out. So many times in regular Dota, somebody will get overconfident and you get some sort of turnaround, but the AI always plays it safe. They always know just to be able to push it to the limits and then back out at the last second. And I love the item builds as well. Like previous, when we played against them, like some of the item builds were a little bit curious, but they ended up working out. Here, like a lot of 4 staffs against a Riki, that is very obvious, right? Same goes going up against the Viper as well with this Nether Toxin on the ground. They know they just want to get out of this silence, out of this damage over time as quick as possible.
Now a 10k lead here for OpenAI. Shrines are going to be focused as they continue to just take these objectives away from OG, and OG is struggling to slow them down. We're going to see here, Cap, what OpenAI was thinking from their perspective.
Yeah, you could see they wanted to be able to go into that top lane area, and they're all feeling pretty safe. That's what those green bars are. And then they just kind of like end up running over OG.
Yeah, and we saw with the red bars there as well, that was them realizing that the objectives that were good to go. And indeed, they take that tier 2 tower as they lock onto it. As back top, Thompson leading the way, giving a bit of vision here for OG, maybe seeing if they can set something up, try and catch out OpenAI as they back off. Thompson giving a lot of very, very important vision. There's the setup. Jumping from Jerax. Echo slams down with the force. CM, she's going to be forced to safety. They do lose the gyro. The CM's still alive for now. A TP out will get another back to safety. So what could have been a bit of a disaster only ends as the gyro going down. Everybody else on OpenAI gets out of there. They will lose their courier yet again, of course.
And it's not fair. It's like they've got a 9,000 net worth lead, but always like half of it is on a dead courier. It's always missing for them. Well, they do have them. Once they start getting some of the magic immunity items for the AI, we'll be able to see how they're able to do in these team fights, whether they get off their BKB before Jerax makes his kind of initiation. Now, this is interesting. In the replay earlier, there was in the top right, there was a Roshan pick.
Correct, yes.
And it goes to show like how they feel about taking Roshan right now, and how likely they feel it is that the enemy is taking Roshan. And one of the coolest things, Owen, for me, is when they showed that video, they showed a time where they knew the enemy was doing Roshan. The AI knew that Roshan was happening, but they didn't go and contest. They actually said, oh, it's better for us to actually just take over the map. And that's exactly what they did. They did what we see human players do all the time, which is they just shove out the side lanes. And they just pushed it in all the way to objectives and let the enemy team take Roshan, just because they felt like they weren't stronger at the time when it comes to a team fight.
Well, we've seen as well a lot of sort of talk from the OpenAI in terms of what core positions they're playing and how they feel that their roles are at the moment. And you can see on the board that they have the 4 heroes, really, that are very, very farmed. This Gyro and Sven and Death Prophet and Sniper, all at sort of a similar level. Whereas OG, of course, they have only sort of the standard 3 cores running at this point in time. Even, of course, one of them falling behind a little bit. The farm for Thompson not looking that impressive for 27 minutes into a game. Only really both Seb and Ana that have a considerable amount of farm.
Ana's gone for interesting build. He's going for the Aghanim Scepter, so as much team fight as humanly possible. We'll see whether or not the AI registers, like, because part of it is the souls coming back and healing you. right? So if he goes in, BKBs, gets that off, and he's taking so much damage, but it returns and heals them all up, that's going to be like just a lot of wasted resources for the AI. So we'll see whether or not they know to be able to, how to deal with this, what is going on exactly.
Yeah, very different approach with this SF. And it may do it. I'll see in the mid, though. Thompson is found out. The sentry ward's still there, giving them the vision, as that will be another death on Ricky. Thompson being caught out a fair few times now here by the AI. So they're more than prepared, and you can see no sort of holding back, as instantly as they recognize the threat, the attempt was used with that exorcism commitment as well. We'll see the AI move quickly to see if they can find more use out of the ult. As it is, they'll see a camp and take the easy farm. There will be action, though, back towards the river, as into the jungle. Ana is going to head forward. Fisher will hold back the Death Prophet a little bit. He's holding on to that BKB charge here, Ana. In fact, he's not going to use it at all, as he has the Aegis. He's going to prepare for the second life to see if they're going to need to use that BKB. As jump forward from Jerax.
Oh,
does get
nice silence.
Silenced by the Death Prophet, meaning that Jerax has nothing to throw out immediately. BKB will be used here by the DP. It is about to end, so if NoTail can find a setup with a cast, maybe they can go for this. They're diving pretty deep here, OG, trying for OpenAI, as they'll go up towards the high ground, towards this shrine area, but OpenAI just keep kiting them up, keeping that distance, making it very hard for OG to get any sort of catch.
Ana is doing everything he can to try and get the AI to turn around and fight him. Like, he blinks so aggressively, it's like, hey, fight me, because he really wants, he's got the rest of his team behind him. He knows that the exorcism is down, but the AI seems to know that too. They know, like, because this exorcism is down, we shouldn't be fighting right now. We're just not stronger than them when it comes to team fight. Same goes with probably the BKB usage.
Already OpenAI, they've found some more setup here, as they'll go straight away towards Seb, opening up with the Yule Scepter. Seb will turn with a Viper Strike down onto the Sven. Jara already heading towards the back lines of OG, making it hard for OG to get a team fight fully together, as once again, OpenAI putting a bit of a stop to OG, trying to make a play. Now they're going on the Death Prophet.
Oh, what a
They'll commit
stun!
with the ult. Can they get the kill? They've already lost 2 on OG. They will get the Death Prophet, but immediate, again, these buybacks being used, as OpenAI knows that it has the edge with the numbers. Jerax will throw down a Fisher to block off any attempted catch from the Gyro, but Sven finishes off Seb. Another convincing fight here for the AI.
We always say that Dota is like a game of mistakes. It's just too complicated to have a perfect game. And so you're always going to have some sort of mistake in positioning, and the AI is going to abuse that. And we saw that where OG moving forward, 2 heroes next to each other, the Sven with just the beautiful initiation, Stormhammer, and just cleaves through both of them so quickly.
And now they get the push on, immediately bringing the wave down on this bottom lane towards this tier 2 tower. They're going straight up towards that high ground. Exorcism pop, they're going to do a good amount of damage here on this bottom lane, as the tier 3 just gets destroyed by the ghosts from the Death Prophet. The Rack's in trouble as well. OG, they're still without Seb for 25 seconds. Towards the mid, you have this SF trying to push the wave out, but he's got to pop the BKB Ana and get himself away as OpenAI. They'll kill off NoTail. He's caught on the high ground. Ana will TP back towards the base, but still no Seb for 10 seconds. NoTail now out for 40. OpenAI, they actually move away from that bottom lane before finishing it off, and now after getting the kills towards mid, they'll just continue to sweep around at top, take another tier 3 tower. Seb is now back in the game. He's got to be a little careful, as OpenAI have a 13k lead. They are sort of an item ahead of their cause on OG. Silence comes out from the Ricky. There's the Viper Strike as well, but the BKB is going to be popped straight away. Jump forward. They'll look towards Thompson. Thompson forced to the side. Thompson in potential trouble. The Requiem comes out from Ana, but Thompson is dead. Both him and Jerax buying back, getting into this game. They're looking to try and chase. Jerax does have a blink available. He'll jump forward. Fish is there onto 2. Heads in. Echo Slam is perfect. The Sven, he blinked into it, but I say it's good. It killed the sniper. Is it going to actually get anyone else out of it? Sven, he's TPing out. The Death Prophet, he's TPing out. They do have the proc there with the Aftershock and that Enchant Totem to catch out the Death Prophet. As OG, they will manage to kill off 2 big targets. They obviously took a lot of damage to the base. They had to buy back, but they're finally able to punch back a little bit at the AI.
And this is where OG could definitely make the comeback, because we've seen the AI so liberally use their buybacks. We've got a Death Prophet down for a minute and a half still.
This is a long time. It is a long time. We'll see how much OG can do with this window. As immediately moving down the middle lane, the build, as we're seeing, continuing from Ana, going for this refresher after the Aghanims. making sure he can get sort of the consistent ult salves, the potential double BKBs and such. It's going to be a lot that the AI has to consider when it tries to play into this SF. Jump forward here from OG. They're trying to fight into this. The BKB comes out from both of them, both the SF and the Sven. In response, Fisher will be used to try and separate some of the AI from one another. Jump forward though, and with the rocket barrage, they've got the damage to take down Thompson. They'll look towards Jarex. Jarex is going to fall as well, as the push put to an end there. Despite not having the Death Prophet or the Sniper, OpenAI feeling confident with just the 3 heroes being able to stop what OG tried to get going. Seb was trying to split push here on the top lane, but a missile is already inbound. It is going to be Lotus or back. Now continuing to just fight through the Lotus, popping the Frostbite. Seb now goes for the TP, knows there's no further ways to cancel it, and Seb will escape.
You know, I went back and looked at how the AI decided to take that fight, and it was Seb. Seb showed himself in the top lane, and the AI almost instantly jumped into mid lane because they said the Viper can't be here for X amount of time. And they just know that that's good enough to be able to take a fight, even though they're at a numbers disadvantage. Especially considering how big this Sven is.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen the entire game, the power that this Sven has in terms of just starting the action and also putting a stop to it. This stun, we sort of lost count of the amount of times that it's just changed the outcome of fights with the way that the AI has been able to just change how OG's been looking to go around the fight. Seb again going for sort of these suicidal pushes here, just throwing himself down on the bottom lane. He's almost certainly going to die for this. He does have the Lotus to remove the silence. The stun will get reflected. Seb, can he play his way out of this one at all? He has got a force to the side. Time's going to be bought for them there as the Death Prophet uses up the Viper, holds him in place. Seb will fall, but he's just doing his best to try and keep the AI away from the base. These players as well, they are forcing the Death Prophet to react with the Exorcism, will mean that it's not there for necessarily high ground pushes.
Instantly using the BKB there, just on the first side of any hero.
You can see OG as well, they do recognize that, and they are going to try and make a play whilst this Sniper doesn't have that BKB available to pop. As they'll look towards the CM, they've got the vision down, they'll find one. Missile's going to be heading the way of the SF, straight BKB and a TP out from Anna. He's got to get away, but they have the right-click damage to punch through him. With that physical coming out from the Gyro and the Sniper, that is going to mean the buybacks have to come out, and only Seb has his available. This is Anna down for 70, Thompson gone for 50, and Jarrett's gone for 40. As the OpenAI, they have lost their CM, but we're still with 4 heroes ready to go, ready to push. BKB back online for the Sven in under 10 seconds. They're going to make an immediate move towards the base, and OG, they're under the threat of being mega creeped here.
Yeah, I don't see how the 2 members of OG could possibly hold this off. That last team fight was pretty much the opposite of what we were talking about, where they show Seb in a lane, the AI reads that they could take that mid fight. Well, in that time, the AI instantly moved all from bottom over to that top lane. They were all running. One of them TP'd as the Crystal Maiden, and they just all kind of made the read that we can get there in time, and OG thought they couldn't because they're at the bottom right-hand corner of the map. They're not going to get here that quickly. But the thing is, the AI just instantly responds. They never take that next creep, you know? They just always move.
And here we have it now. So OpenAI claiming the mega creeps. OG, they may have one final defense in them. They will have the full team back up in 15. Jarek's already leading in under the cover of the smoke, trying to start something, but an immediate BKB is out from the Death Prophet, making sure that Jarex cannot follow Thompson into the action.
Apparently, Gyrocopter's done well for himself. He's been saying, I'll play the 4 position, I'll buy some wards and stuff, but he's now said, no, I'm a 3 position now. He's got BKB, Aghanim Scepter coming in soon. Even our Crystal Maiden, they talked about this on the panel, right, is that their net worth is never divided so heavily. We talk about the position 6, we make a joke about that, about somebody who's just only buying wards as a support and has no real items. That never happens with the AI.
Oh, in mid lane, just a commitment here from the Sven. BKB jumping with the God Strength. It may just sort of be the Shaker, but he knows that this Shaker gone from the team fight for OG means that it's so hard for OG to attempt to hold. 1 tier 4 tower already gone as well. As OpenAI, they've found Seb also outside of the base. Seb dead for 2 minutes. No Tail also going to fall. Stun there from the Sven. A snipe from the Sniper. As Anna will try and do something, at least jumping in with the BKB. The first ult comes out. It will be No Tail killing off the Sven, as that is going to be the Sven dead for 2 minutes. Still, though, they have to be careful of this sniper, as he's doing so much damage towards the SF. Anna will fall. No-Tail TP's in. He's got the death ward, but the physical damage from the sniper pulls apart the Witch Doctor. As OG losing hero after hero once again. OpenAI now with a 28,000 net worth lead. OG's Ancient exposed. Jarex will be there to hold the creeps up back towards the mid. They are trying to keep them drawn away from the Ancient, as both Thompson and Jarex are trying to take OpenAI's focus away from ending the game. Jump forward Tensor, but it doesn't matter. The creeps are on the Ancient. GG is called, and OpenAI take game 1. And Cap, they look pretty terrifying. It was close at the start, but one thing we've learned here for OG, their ult chat may have worked at TI, but maybe hands off the keyboard a little bit. Don't type any ult chat against these AI, as they will turn around with vengeance.
Oh, certainly. It seems like, you know, when you think about playing against an AI, you assume that there are certain things that are going to be super scary. One of them is going to be like reaction time. Like, oh, look how quickly he was able to blink in and get that 2-man